Okay, so this is a guide to defending against Warden's neutral rule offense. We're going to watch the clips about his lights out of neutral, and then I will talk about where to look. Okay, so we see Warden's forward shoulder always dictates which direction his attack will come from. He'll always wind up in whatever direction the attack is coming from. If it's, his close side, he'll swing back. If it's his top side, he'll go up. If it's his opposite side, it'll shift shoulders entirely. So it's a fairly easy tell with the light parries. These clips here are mainly here to just watch the shoulder. It's not whether or not I can parry it. I kind of bad at this game anyways, but just watch his shoulder. That's kind of what your takeaway here is. Like for instance, other characters in For Honor have significantly harder tells than Warden's. But watching his shoulder is pretty much a gateway into handling a large majority of his moves. So don't watch the weapon, watch the shoulder. And no matter what offensive stance he's in, one of his shoulders will always be forward. So if he's in left stance, his right shoulder is forward. If he's in right stance, his left shoulder is forward. And if he goes top, whatever direction he was in before that will dictate his shoulder position. So if he comes out of left to top, it'll be the right shoulder. If he comes out of right to top, it'll be the left shoulder. And that's all you really need to watch for as far as animations go. His footwork isn't as significant, and his sword is really not where you want to watch. The shoulder is definitely, in my opinion, the best place to look when defending yourself against Warden. Alright, now let's cover the zone attack. Watch clips and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so just like light attacks, the shoulder is a massive indicator of the zone coming, and it is wonky. It's an incredibly wonky animation, as if it's coming out of the left side, he'll do a spin, but if it's coming out the right, it just kind of comes out instantly. And it's admittedly a bad animation as far as For Honor animations go, but it's necessary as it is a incredibly fast opener attack. So my recommendation is keep your guard to your left at all times against the zone attack, and then just, you can watch for it and try to parry it, but definitely prioritize keeping your guard left and worrying about, trying to parry the lights out of neutral. It's easier to parry those on animation than the zone because it is faster and it is wonky. Okay, now let's move on to the heavies. Let's watch the clip and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so unlike Warden's lights, Warden's heavy attacks are a fair bit easier to identify because he'll either drop his shoulder incredibly low for a side heavy, or he'll swing incredibly high for a top heavy. A ridiculous animation in terms of an actual fight, but as far as video games go, it's great for identifying what attack's coming. That top heavy is really big, like big swing mode. And basically identifying the heavy between the light is fairly simple, as the light is almost always just a horizontal movement, whereas the heavies have much more vertical up and down change in the shoulder. And this is the key. You're going to be watching that shoulder pretty much the entire time you're fighting Warden. But yeah, his animations for his heavies all go up or down a whole lot, and they're easier to identify between that and the lights. It's just, you know, if it goes up or down right off the first few frames, it's going to be a heavy. If it doesn't, it's a light. So just kind of, you know, parry the light based on horizontal movement, I suppose. So additionally, you don't want to just try to parry on startup of any animation you see, as, like we talked about with the zone earlier, it has a wonky startup, and you might end up trying to throw parries in the wrong direction. I tend to do that quite a bit. I'll be like, oh, he's gonna throw a light from his left, and it's a zone, and I get whacked by it. So try not to just reactively throw parries, as it might not net you the best results. Try to be disciplined with how you approach the fight. Okay, now let's move on to Warden's forward-heavy Valiant breakthrough and watch the clip and talk about it. Okay, so Valiant Breakthrough is pretty straightforward. Simple move, it dash forward heavy. I would not recommend trying to parry this at close range against the Warden, as it has an identical startup dash forward as his shoulder bash. You're going to try to parry it, you're going to eat a shoulder bash, you're going to get lighted. It is much safer just to try to block and then try to deal with the shoulder bash in whichever way you want to try to read. Whether that's a back roll, you know, a dodge roll out, whether that's a side dodge on a quick bash, or whether that's the wait for the long bash. If you block the Valiant Breakthrough, not gonna hurt anything. You know, it's no pressure afterwards. So, that being said, if it's at long range and you have time to properly react to the move at long range, then, you know, go for the parry. Like, there's nothing you can do. He can't feint it. There's no reason not to try to parry a long-range Valiant Breakthrough. Okay, now let's move on to Warden's bread and butter out of neutral, the shoulder bash. Everyone knows it, but we're going to talk about it. Okay, shoulder bash mix-up. I included all 4 clips of what I consider to be the ways to handle the mix-up, with dodge short bash, dodge long bash, dodge roll back, and light. Technically, you could wait to counter guard break if you think he's going to go for a guard break, but dodge roll back and light both cover that option very well, because your lights will throw you into your chains, and dodge roll back is going to get you out of, get you so far away that unless you're playing against somebody with 100 plus ping, they aren't going to land the guard break. The tracking on it isn't good enough. Additionally, you can't change guard before throwing a light to interrupt short bash. So just throw the light out of whatever stance you're already in, which puts you at risk of getting parried, but that's the way things go, I suppose. This, as far as animations go, shoulder bash mix-up isn't something that I have any advice to help players to watch for. It's an incredibly effective neutral pressure tool that is a read-based fight. There is no, like, you know, one-trick charm, oh, watch this foot, watch that shoulder, watch this hand, to make it, you know, reactable. You've got to guess what he's going to do, or predict what he's going to do based on a read. So, basically my advice is start off any fight against a Warden with either a dodge rollback on the first bash, or a light to interrupt it, and see if he's going to feint for a parry, or feint into a dash forward valiant breakthrough to beat the dodge rollback with light. Like, those are your safest options for dealing with shoulder bash, and those are the two that I believe are going to net you the best chance at, like, figuring out what your opponent's going to do, like what the enemy Warden is going to do most often. Is he gonna, you know, is he gonna let the quick bash fly? Is he gonna let the long bash fly? Is he gonna feint? You know, it's a read-based offensive pressure. So do what you can. I don't have any tips. There is nothing here animation-wise that, you know, is the get out of jail free card. You just got to deal with the pressure the Warden applies. But yep, out of all the neutral options Warden has, I saved shoulder bash for last because it was the one that, frankly, I don't have any advice for. With that said, I'm going to conclude this guide. If you would like to see a particular character, or you have any constructive criticism or advice, or anything that I'm missing, maybe you see a tell that I don't see, which would be cool, learn more, but just let me know, whether on Reddit or, you know, in the comments. If you have a particular, my plan going forward is to do the Vanguards first. I was going to move on to Raider, and Kensei, then Tiandi, and then after that I wasn't terribly sure where I wanted to go with this series, if I do a full series. But if there's a particular character you would really like after the Vanguards, let me know, and I'll start on that. Doesn't have to be a particular faction, doesn't have to go, you know, doesn't have to go Knight, Viking, Samurai, Wulin, you know, I can go anybody after the Vanguards get done. But thanks for watching, and let me know anything you want to know, anything you want to say. Boy.